Never thought I would say these words on the show, but joining us in conversation right now is a mermaid. But not just any mermaid. She is a multi-talented mermaid. She is an actress. She is a singer. She is a podcaster. Joining us right now is Mermaid Aria, aka Amanda.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. Did you ever see that special? I think the History Channel did it, where they put this big documentary out where they're like, oh, mermaids were real, and they put out all this evidence and stuff, and they had the interviews and stuff, and people believed it. It was like an April Fool's Day prank.
I don't know how. Have people never seen CGI before that or something? Because it was so clearly CGI. I didn't even bother to watch that because I saw like the trailer for it or something. Or I like flipped on the channel and then it was like footage of a mermaid and it was like CGI and I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah,
Click.
I know people that bought it hook, line, and sinker. Like they were like, yo, did you see that? Mermaids are real. Like, did you see that shit? And we're like, bro, what are you talking about, dude? What are you talking about? Yeah, like I think a lot of people ended up buying that. It was crazy.
If mermaids were real, they would not look like that.
You don't think
they
so?
would not. No, because they live in the ocean. They would live in the deep ocean, so they wouldn't look like humans really,
Yeah.
because humans can't survive deep down in the ocean with all the pressure.
Right.
So they would probably look like some weird fish you find
Amphibian,
in the deep dark.
alien thing.
Or like a manatee. They probably look like a manatee.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
So you're using common sense. That's people usually don't do that. So that's where you separated yourself from the pack there. The trailer didn't even get you. The trailer was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Wow.
That's why I tell people, this is a real mermaid. I'm as real as you're going to get.
There you go.
On this earth.
Exactly.
Because mermaids, I'm sorry, there is not. I mean, I love mermaids, of course. I love mermaids, but there are no beautiful looking women swimming around in the deep ocean. It's not happening. So this is what you get.
Right. So you are not swimming around in the deep ocean, but please explain to those who don't know what kind of mermaid you are.
I'm a professional mermaid.
There you go.
I got my start swimming at aquariums. I got my start at Ripley's Aquarium in Myrtle Beach as a dive mermaid. So I dove down in the stingray tank and did little tricks and waved at the kids through the glass. Oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so fun. But once I left there, I then started working at this restaurant in my city. When you walk into this restaurant, there's a little mermaid pool. And I just swim around in the pool and talk to kids, take pictures with people. And then I also have my own business where I do like events and birthday parties and things like that as a mermaid performer.
Right. As you've seen on your TikTok, if people want to go to your TikTok, you show like day in the life of a mermaid and you show yourself like going to different jobs and stuff like that. Was there any kind of training you had to do when you went into the Ripley's one?
There should have been, but not really.
Nice. They just put the fins on and say, good, have a good time.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So the tank that you swim in at Ripley's is like, well, for one, it has wild animals in it. Okay. They fish these stingrays out of the ocean and plop them in the tank. So these are wild stingrays. Now it's not dangerous. Because stingrays typically are pretty docile creatures unless they feel really threatened. And they also trim off their barbs so they can't sting you with the barbs because it's trimmed.
Hopefully.
But still, that's wild animals, right? So I was expecting them to give me a rundown on the behaviors of stingrays and teach me about some stingrays and how to interact with them. None of that. They just said, just try to stay away from the stingrays. That's all. I'll just pretend they're not there. I'm like, okay, sure. And then I had never ever worn a mermaid tail before.
What was that like?
They put a heavy silicone tail on me, and silicone tails are for experienced mermaids only because the tail itself is like 50 pounds.
Wow.
So I had never ever put on a mermaid tail before. And they were like, all right, put on this silicone tail and jump in and we'll see how you do. And luckily, I was born a fish, so I could always swim. I've always been a great swimmer, so I was fine. I was a natural. But there's a lot of girls who try to do the mermaid thing and they don't realize how hard it is. And it really does take training. They should have trained me how to properly swim in a tail, about tail safety, safety around the animals, how to prevent like things like blacking out in the water, how to properly, because we don't have like air hoses down there. You just have to hold your breath. So they should have taught us like techniques how to hold our breath optimally so that we can stay under longer. But no, the training really
They
was
didn't
just
show
like,
you anything?
no,
They just threw a
like,
50-pound
me.
weight
They
on
threw me
you.
in the tank. They just threw me in the tank and they're like, all right, try to swim to the bottom.
With a 50-pound weight on you, they did that. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, the tail is 50 pounds, so it is physically taxing to swim in this tail. But because it is made out of silicone is buoyant. So it's not like it's weighing me down to the bottom because it does have buoyancy. But still, like it is 50 pounds on you that
Yeah.
you need the muscle strength and the endurance to be able to swim.
Yeah. So they just threw you in there. So you talked about preventing from blacking out. How do you prevent blacking out?
Well, sometimes it just happens, and it does. Sometimes it just happens.
Wow.
But it's to prevent blackout. You need to make sure you have a proper breathe up. So when you are under the water doing your thing and you come up, a lot of mermaids, they're so excited about it and they're having fun, so they get a quick bit of air, they go right back down and start swimming, and you can't do that. That's going to make you black out. So you need to know the proper way to go up to the surface, expel all of your CO2, and then like properly reoxygenate your blood so that you can go back down in a safe fashion. There's like a whole thing to it. Like they really should be certifying people or at least training people in free diving techniques.
Right. They just gave you
But
no training at all. They're like, all right, have fun.
Yeah,
Wow.
just swim to the bottom. Like, okay. So then I swim to the bottom and they're like, okay, now try a backflip.
Just try
And then
it.
there was this one trick, oh gosh, that's so scary, where we basically had to, like, I'll try it, like the glass is like behind me and you have to like crawl backwards.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen
Upside
that.
down the glass, crawl
Yeah.
down the glass upside down. It's so scary because
And they just tell you to do it, though.
for
They
one, you're
just...
upside down, so your sinuses flood with water.
Oh, my God.
And you have to keep your eyes open, and you can't see anything. You can't
Really?
see through the glass. It's just a black void.
No way. So you're just waving at people. They don't even know you don't see them.
I can't see anything.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
That's some
you just hope
jig,
and
man.
pray that when you're at the glass and you're waving to somebody that you're actually waving to somebody.
And from the outside looking in, it looks fun. It looks like you're having a great time. I mean, you probably are, but who would have thought there's so much to it, that there's so many aspects to it like that?
Yeah, there's
That's-
a lot.
And you'd have to learn it on your own, too. Pretty much. Wherever you went, you had to learn it on your own. But you took to it, like you said, pretty well because you like to swim and stuff. So did you like, or do you like the like diving in the tank stuff more, or do you like the like congregating and mingling with people in the pool jobs more?
That's hard to say because I love diving because it's a challenge, and just the feeling of freedom of being like deep under the water and just being able to swim every which way and do tricks is so fun, such a fun experience. And especially I miss my little stingray buddies. I love them. They're like little puppies. They like swim by me. I give them a little pet.
Oh, that's fun.
I love them. Um, but I also, I love interacting with people too. And that's something that I did kind of miss out on with the dive shows at the aquarium because basically we would do the dive show and then we would have to immediately like go and do something else. Like we would have to help another mermaid. We had like photo mermaids who just took photos with people. So we'd have to immediately like go help the photo mermaid get ready for her photos. So I didn't get to meet the people that just saw my show.
Oh, okay.
And so, and I really enjoy that. I that's something I really like doing at the restaurant is I get to see people's like excited faces when they see a mermaid for the first time, and kids are like, "Oh my God, mermaids are real!" And then even like adults walk in and they're like, "Oh my God, mermaids are real!" And I just love that, and I love being like asked questions. That's a nice little challenge because I'm an actress, so I love doing the mermaid character, and kids ask me all these like weird kind of questions, and I have to come up with an answer really quick.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah, that's got to be fun. Is there like any taxing aspects to the job, negative aspects to the job? Like, is your skin always dry? Like, are your eyes always hurting, stinging?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yes. Yes. Mermaiding is like, it's a danger art. It really is. I mean, you might drown.
It sounds like it.
You might drown. You might drown and die, but the hair, it's awful on your hair, especially if you are mermaiding in a pool because your hair is just in the chlorine 4 hours at a time. So during the summertime, my hair it's done for.
Fried.
Done for. Awful. It's like straw.
Oh.
But over the couple of years I've been doing this, I have learned certain preventative measures and techniques to help my hair.
Yeah.
But also, your skin gets dry from the chlorine as well. A really big thing at the aquarium is every single mermaid, it's almost considered like a rite of passage. You will get an awful ear and sinus infection.
Oh, man.
And I had a really, really bad one when I first started working there. Oh, it was awful.
That's gotta
awful. I couldn't taste food for like a week. I thought it was COVID, but it was actually it's a sinus infection.
Oh wow, that's and do you get those periodically or you just only got it one time?
I got it a couple of times when I was there because I was new. I didn't, and they didn't teach us these preventative things to prevent this. But I learned after having a couple of sinus infections that the way to prevent that from happening is to use a neti pot, like a sinus rinse. After every single dive, we have to take a shower after, and I would just do it in the shower after every single dive. Where before, I would do a dive show, my sinuses are full of that poopy, gross stingray water, and I would just let it chill in there all day. No problem. And you can't do that.
So now you got your routine after you get out of there.
Yeah.
So
then I got a nice routine.
In the winter and the colder months, is it only tank shows that you're doing?
In the colder months, yeah, they still do. They just still do the dive shows.
Mm-hmm. So it's only tank stuff. So like your options are a little limited in the colder months.
Oh basically. Yeah, in the wintertime, it's tough as a mermaid. There aren't many gigs.
You need to do like a master class because all the stuff you're telling me, like nobody apparently knows about. Nobody's telling anybody. It's just like a top secret. You need to sell like a class to all these mermaids coming in. Like, this is what you got to do. Use this for your hair. Get the neti pot because I'm telling, like, if nobody knows, there's a market there for you, dude.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, I try to share some of it on my TikTok.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good idea. I could totally do like a master class or something.
Yeah, people
and even just like learning about the mermaid world is huge. It's huge, and there's like, I mean, people don't even know where to buy a mermaid tail. there's only a few places you can buy a mermaid tail.
Yeah.
So like little things like that, like knowing where to buy the mermaid tail, which mermaid tails are good quality, how much are you going to pay for a mermaid tail? What's the difference between like a fabric and a silicone tail? What's the difference between like a hybrid silicone fabric tail and just a fabric tail or a fin fun tail? Just others, and then also like thinking about makeup. You have to wear makeup under the water as a mermaid, and you have to know how to apply it in a way where it's going to stay on under the water.
Wow.
And I've done like shifts at the restaurant with my mermaid makeup for like 7 hours, and that makeup does not budge an inch
Really?
after 7 hours being in the water.
You got it down.
I got the science down.
You got to start selling the science, dude, for real. So how much are we talking, and what is a top of the line mermaid tail like, and how much does it cost? Top shelf stuff.
Oh man. Oh, there are mermaid tails out there for like 10 grand.
10 grand. What, they got like diamonds in it?
Yes.
What makes a tail worth 10 G's?
It's just like the top of the line, or it's like what makes like a Ferrari top of the line? It's like there's mermaid tail. There's like a Ferrari of the mermaid tails, right? It's like the most beautiful. It's the most, like, the design is the most intricate, and it's good quality silicone that they use. And the tail maker themselves is a really great artist.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when you go to get a custom mermaid tail done, they have to create the tail for you, because mermaids don't want their tail to look like everyone else's. You want your own tail.
Right.
So it can get quite costly. My silicone tail, since it's my first one, I was like, I'm not gonna spend 10 grand on this tail. So I just got I picked my color, I picked what fluke shape I wanted, and it cost me like 3 grand.
Wow. And it probably matters with how many times you can actually wear it, right? Like how many times it can actually sustain getting wet and being used, right? Like if you get one that's $500, you could probably use it less than the one that's 3 grand, right? Like in terms of like material and stuff like that, like wearability, durability, stuff like that.
You'll need repairs after a couple of years. You will need repairs.
Repairs. Wow, there's a lot to being a mermaid. Wow, that's crazy. How big is the mermaid world? Like how many mermaids? Like are there a lot of you guys? Like are you guys clicked up? Is there beef between like mermaid cliques? Like what's going on?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. There's so much mermaid drama.
Really? Spill the tea. Who do we not like?
I'm not that privy to the mermaid drama, because quite frankly, I don't care about it. I think it's stupid because look, we get to be mermaids for a living. Like, can't you just be happy with that? Like, why would you have drama? Like, you get to be a mermaid for God's sakes, while some people are like flipping burgers.
Right.
So like you should be so grateful and so happy for that, and you should not be causing drama. So, but we are dealing with a lot of girls, and girls can be, as a girl, I'm saying we can be quite catty
mermaids.
Catty and dramatic. So of course there's going to be drama. But yeah, there are little like mermaid celebrity kind of people where it's the mermaid that like everyone knows who that is, and it's like, oh my God, it's that mermaid. And which I didn't realize before coming into the world. I didn't know who any of these people are, but apparently there's like little mermaid celebrities.
Yeah.
And there's this one like really big mermaid company that I'm trying to get into, and I'm very close to getting into.
Yeah.
So it's a whole thing. It is a whole thing.
Well, I'm glad we got you before you blew up, and then you're like too big time to do the show when you get into the big mermaid leagues. I'm glad we got you now. That's wild, dude. Like I can imagine they need to do a reality show on the mermaid beef and the mermaid drama. I could see that selling. I could totally see that selling. Let me not say. Let me. I might do that. Let me edit that out so we don't give our idea away.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. I mean, they already have you ever seen Mer People on Netflix?
No, what is that?
There's a documentary on Netflix called Mer People, and it's about the mermaid world.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, about all the mermaids in the mermaid world, what it's like to be a professional mermaid. The company that they feature in that documentary is the company that I'm working on getting into.
Nice.
So it's a really cool documentary if anyone's interested in learning about the mermaid world and what it's like to be a mermaid.
What's going to be like the main differences between what you're doing now and then when you get into that big company? Is there different ways that they operate, different things that you have to do?
Yeah, so to be in that company, it's a big deal in the mermaid world. So it'll help expand like my reach of followers, which will help me to get more gigs because I'll get more presence on social media. People will find me on social media, but also that specific company like has gigs already that they can give to you that are quite high paying, which is really nice. So plus it's it's a really great group of mermaids um, who I know a lot of them personally. I have spent time with them because my one of my really good friends is in the company, so she brings me along to some of their functions, and so I know them personally, and they're really great people. So it's just really good to be part of a pod. It's called a pod of mermaids. It's really great to be part of a pod of mermaids who share the same passion as you because it's kind of a weird thing, right? To be a mermaid, and not everyone gets it.
That's cool, man. It's cool. You guys are like serious, dude. You guys like see like Navy SEALs out there. You guys are like risking your lives and shit. Like you guys are living crazy. So you got no beef with nobody though. You stay out of the drama. Well, let me tell you.
I mean, there are mermaids I don't particularly like,
Oh well, listen.
but like it's fine. But like whatever. I don't have beef.
You have beef. You let us know. We got your back on this show. We're coming to your defense. We got you.
There's this one specific mermaid, and the reason why I don't like her is because
Drop
she she when I first met her, she lives in the same city as me. When I first met her, she told me, do not try to get any gigs in this area because this is my territory.
What is she, the mob?
She said, I moved here to Myrtle Beach to be the #1 mermaid in Myrtle Beach, and I got here first. So this is my territory. So do not look for gigs around here. And I was like, I literally told her to her face, I'm like, that's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, it's not. Mermaids are territorial. And I was like, no, they're not. Mermaids run in pods.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the National Geographic documentary. They didn't say that. They didn't say they were territorial. Like, get out of here.
Whoever said mermaids are territorial? So, no, it's just her.
Wow.
So I didn't appreciate that because my experience with mermaids before meeting her was they were very kind and nice and friendly, and we all got along. So when she came into my experience and was like, don't you go trying to get gigs from me, I was like, whoa, that's not normal for
okay. I would have I would have swam all in her territory after that. Did you?
I tried. One of my goals is to like take over the city.
Take it over, dude. Take it over. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. This is my ocean. This is my section of the ocean. Get out of here, dude.
Oh, no, because the mermaid world is so not like that. No. It's not like that. Mermaids help each other because it's a small world, so we have to support each other.
Right, the pod. Got to get in the pod. Mm-hmm. Who's the top creator of tales? Who's the big that's the one I gotta get from this person?
There's a couple of them. So one of them is called Merbella. Her tales are gorgeous. Oh my God, so gorgeous. I don't even think she makes tales for people anymore.
Oh, that's exclusive.
But she makes them still, but I don't think she takes commissions anymore. But they're gorgeous. And then there's also a tale maker called Dimitri Arts or something, and his tails are out of this world as well. I would say those are the top two. And then there's like your household names like Mertailor, Finfolk, Finfun. If anyone's just like, oh my gosh, I just want to like know what it's like to put on a mermaid tail and just swim around in a pool, go to Finfun because Finfun is like your Amazon of mermaid tails where it's like cheaper and they have like a lot of different colors to choose from and it's a good start. It's a good start. But please do not buy a mermaid tail from Amazon because Amazon often steals the artwork of artists, plagiarizes their artwork, and also the tails that they create are not of quality and they're not safe.
Ooh, what, not safe meaning like your skin's gonna have a reaction, or what? What does unsafe mean for a mermaid tail?
Like they're not safe because like the you have the tail and then you have like the monofin and the monofins they're not very safe. Just the way that they're created is
Okay,
it's not safe.
okay. I can see it now I can see it on our reality show. The pods are clicked. I was like, oh, you saw that? She said she got a Merbella tail. I was like, bitch, that's fake. That's from Amazon. That ain't no Merbella. I could
I'm sure
see
it's
it.
like that sometimes.
I can see it now. That's a fake ass Amazon tail. Get out of here. Wow. So this is you have to do some kind of like acting, like you said, when you interact with these people. And this is you're not your first foray into acting. As we said, you're an actress. Were you a very like performative child growing up? Were you like performing for your family and all that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
can
like I used to put like little plays and like little concerts for my family in our living room. That was something I like to do. And then one of my favorite things to do as a child was my grandmother had a camcorder and I used to steal her camcorder and I would set it up and I would choreograph little dances and I would perform it in front of the camcorder.
Hell
And
yeah.
I would drag my cousin along to learn the dance with me and we would both perform our dances in front of the
Sweet.
camcorder.
Sweet. So how many acting gigs have you done besides the mermaid stuff? Or what kind of gigs?
Um I got my master's degree in opera. And after I got my master's degree, I kind of took a hiatus from performing for quite a while because I was living in Boston and Boston is extremely expensive.
Hmm.
So once I wasn't having that like scholarship money coming in to help support myself, I was like, I got to get a job. So I got very distracted from like trying to make money to sustain myself in the city, which is one of the reasons why I moved to Myrtle Beach from Boston was to save money, so I can actually pursue my career. But when I moved here to Myrtle Beach, I started working at a murder mystery show here in the city, and that was like kind of a full time gig. So I worked there for a couple of years and focused on that. And now I am not working there anymore, but I am in like a little community play. So it's tough because for me, there's so many things that I want to do in my life. I want to be a mermaid. I want to be a singer. I want to be an actress. I want to have my own business. I want to be a model. I like making videos. So I want to be a content creator. So right now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like really trying to figure out like the avenue. Like what avenue do I really want to go down? Like what do I really want?
Right. Well, these days you don't have to pick. You can just do like a bunch at the same time. As you see, there's so many creators doing like five things at one time. It's like it's just how much can your brain handle, I guess.
Right. And how much can you do alone? Like a lot of
Exactly.
those creators, they may have people helping them.
Right. Right. How was it working at the murder mystery show?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh. Um, it was like a comedy show. It was like a murder mystery comedy show. And I sang like a 40-minute set before it was 1930s themed too. So I got to sing like jazz style, which I love singing in jazz. It's like my voice suits jazz very well. And so I sang a 40-minute set before the show. And then we would have the show, and I was like the main lady in the show. I was the killer, by the
Nice,
way,
nice,
which is really
nice.
fun because I love being a villain, or I love
But
playing a villain.
it's kind of odd because before we got on the show, you said you don't like blood, so you were the killer, huh?
I was the killer, but I killed people with poison.
Oh, okay. That checks out. Okay, you weren't
Yeah.
stabbing them, you weren't slicing them up. Okay,
No.
okay. So you had a good time doing
Yeah,
that,
poison. So,
and you got to sing too. That's
I got to
cool.
sing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but they started out as like this small business like project, just wanting to give young actors or new actors just a start in the world, and I really appreciated that. That really resonated with me. But then towards the end, before I left, they started going corporate.
Oh boy. So
They
what?
decided to incorporate and turn into a corporation. So that's when things started going downhill there. And I was like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. This isn't what I originally signed up for.
And that's when they stop looking out for the little people or the people that work for them, and they start looking
Yeah.
out for the people on top
They
and
started
taking
looking for the bottom
advantage.
line. They just want to make that bottom line.
Yep, yep.
It became less about the last straw for me was in the show there was like, I think there was like 6 roles at a time in the show, so 6 actors had a shift. They decided to get rid of 3 of those,
Of course.
and instead take those 3 roles and let audience members play them
Oh, how cheap.
for a premium.
Oh, so they get paid for it. And now
So they
you
get paid. So they're going to cut hours from 3 of their actors so that they can make an extra buck on some audience members.
Wow. That's crazy. And then you got to
And
work with
that's
the
when I
audience
was like,
too.
you know what? No, I don't want to be a part of this. This is no.
And then that means you got to work with the audience too. Like they're a part of the show now, so they're probably throwing it off and they're doing their own thing.
Oh,
And it's like,
yeah.
what's
You know what
going
it was?
on?
You know what it was? They literally would just be handed a piece of paper with their lines, and then when it was their time, they would stand up and they would just read their lines from the paper, and it was
Oh
the
no.
cringiest, most awful, embarrassing thing that I've ever seen. And like it was, it destroyed the show. It destroyed the show.
God. Like you're in a tense moment and somebody gets up just, oh no, why did you do that? Oh my
Yes,
God.
and they would have to die, right? These characters were characters that died in the show, so they would have them die standing up.
Would they just go, oh, ow, ow.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like they would be like,
Ugh.
they would have the character die. So a lot of people, they would die. They'd be like, oh, I'm dying, and then the host of the show would be like, wow, oh my gosh, how amazing! It looks like they died standing up. Stand up. And then like the person would stand up. Oh wow, it looks like they died hopping on one leg. Hop on one leg. And then the person would like hop on one leg. And it was like the dumbest, cheesiest, stupid thing I've ever seen in my life.
What a way to ruin the show. You add the
Ruin
audience.
Ruin it.
Reading like robots.
Is awful. Awful.
Dude,
Awful.
no
and
way.
I tell you, and that was my last straw, and it was the last straw of a lot of other actors too. So I was one of many actors that decided to peace out.
How many shows did you do like that with the audience participation?
Like a couple months,
It was brutal.
and I did like 5 shows a week.
Wow. See, I thought you were going to say that they cut 3 roles and then made y'all play those roles. Like they made you do double duty. Oh, put on this hat, put on this mustache. That was even worse. That was even worse than what I thought. Wow, dude. All for the bottom line. All for the bottom. Is that place still around?
Yeah.
I might have to go see this show now to see how horrible it is.
No, please don't give them money.
I mean, you kind of sold me. Like, I have to see the audience performance now. There's got to be somebody, right? There had to be somebody that put their all into it, and like maybe one audience member that was like, okay, all right, that was good, right? Like maybe one or two where they were fine, or was it all bad?
No, it's all bad.
Nobody went in there and was like, just I'm gonna kill it right now.
I mean, there were some that were kind of funny because they were really into it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like it
yeah.
wasn't good.
They sucked.
But also not only that, it's like it was stupid because these audience members they died, right? But then they just like sit back down at their table and they're just like part of the show now. So it just like destroys the illusion of it being an actual like real story because like that person, that character that just died is now literally just sitting at their table eating their food.
Boo!
It's so
Wow.
stupid. So stupid. And it's unfortunate because I really did love that place. I mean, that place will still always have a special place in my heart because I enjoyed my time there for the most part. But towards the end there, it was rough. It was
Sounds
rough.
rough. That sounds rough. Cringe. Epic cringe. Oh my God. That sounds crazy. So you said you've done other plays and you're doing other plays. What's the hardest part of doing stage acting? Because that's the acting that I can imagine is the hardest. You know, like doing a movie, you get all these takes and, you know, you have all this time to sit around. But I mean, once you're on the stage, you're on the stage, dude. And I mean, sometimes you guys are pulling like double duty, 2 shows. So what's the hardest part of doing stage acting for you?
Well, something that I didn't mention was that in this particular show, not only are you stage acting, but you're improvising because the audience, it's like it's set up where we're not on a stage. We are in a party where the audience members are part of that party too. So like you have to interact with audience members in character.
Wow.
So it wasn't just like, oh, learn your lines and then perform it. It was learn your lines, perform it, like literally standing next to an audience member, and also like come up with funny things to interact with them. But also, I would say the hardest part about stage acting is because there is a distance between you and the audience, everything you do has to be really big. Because if it's not really big, you can't see it.
Right. So you're probably really good at improv though, right? Because you're doing improv as a mermaid, you're doing improv on the murder mystery. Is that like one of your strong suits, or do you like to do that
So
a lot?
like, I I could improv a character. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm a mermaid now. I could improv being a mermaid, and if someone asked me questions, I could improv that way. But I'm not so good like if I was part of like a comedy improv group doing
Yeah.
that kind of thing and just like coming up with like funny jokes on the fly.
Yeah.
I'm not really improv funny.
Okay, you two are in a supermarket. Okay, you drop your eggs and then you help them pick it up. Okay, go. Like that
Yeah, and
kind of
make it
stuff.
funny like
Yeah.
that. I'm not really good at that.
I always hated that. We had improv classes before in school, and I always dreaded them. Like, what is it? What is this scenario? Okay, you're in a car, and then you crash into him, but then you come out and you're a clown. Okay, go. And I'm like, oh my God, like, this is so annoying.
Right? Like what am I supposed to do? I
I
don't know.
hated it. I always hated it, dude. I always hated it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that, but I do. I was pretty good at just like putting on my character and then just staying in character, in
Right.
acting as that character.
So are you like a really social person, or is it just something you have to do for the job? That interacting with all these people. Like, do you like interacting with people, or is it like, I'm just doing it because it's part of the gig?
And it depends on my mood. Some days I don't. I think I think I'm charismatic. I can be charismatic, but I do have a social battery. And after a time, that social battery is depleted, and I need to not be around people anymore. So I think I would say, like, if I had to choose between am I more of an extrovert or an introvert, I would say I'm more of an introvert. But I am charismatic and I am a performer. So if I need to be around people and be like a life of the party, I could do it.
Yeah, I feel the same. I got like maybe an hour of life in the party in me, and then I'm ready to go. I'm done after that. I got about an hour, and that's it. I'm ready. I'm back
But
to introvert.
it depends on if I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't just go to any party and have fun.
Yeah.
Like it has to be the right party with the right people, and we're doing things that I find enjoyable. And then yeah, I can be there for a while. But like most parties, if it's just people standing around and drinking and just talking, then I'm like, I'm bored. Why am I here?
Boring.
I could be doing something else.
Boring.
But like when I go out dancing, like I could dance all night.
Right.
I could go and keep going.
So I'm sure dealing with the kids is fun, but I've seen videos of like adults interacting with the characters at Disney or interacting with characters in other ways, and it's like sometimes they can be very cringe, or sometimes even like the dads will be weird and creepy. That happens a lot at Disney. Like the dads will be like weird with Cinderella. It's like, okay, dude, like back up. Like, do you ever deal with stuff like that, or is it pretty good for you?
I not that many times, I would say, because most of the time they're like family events, so the dads are with their families, and they're in front of their wives, so I think maybe they're a little bit more
Tame.
behaved. But I have had like for example, I think of this one situation where like it was like it must have been a single dad with his son or something, and I was like under the water, just like talking to the kid, and the dad was like, "Come up out of the water more, like I want to see you." And it's because he wanted me to come up out of the water so he could see like my top,
Yeah.
right? So I was like, "No, I'm good. The water's warm."
Ugh. How creepy is that? Like trying to command
We call
you?
those people merverts.
So there's a whole crew of them. There's a whole group of people like
There's
that.
a term for it. It's called mervert.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and of course you got the occasional guy that's like, ooh, could I cut a hole in that tail
Oh
or
my
something,
God.
something like
You
that.
guys are very direct. Yeah,
It's like,
very
no, of
direct.
course you cannot cut a hole in my $3,000 tail. Are you
Yeah, it's
crazy?
$3,000, dude.
Are
This
you
ain't no
gonna give me three
Amazon
grand
sale.
and then some?
That's right. This is 10 G's, dude. That's wild. There's always, that's why I asked, because I feel like there's always a subset of guys or people like that in any kind of entertainment where there's, they'll be hitting on the
Yeah.
girls and stuff like that. So correct me if I'm wrong. This is just from the outside perspective. I feel like just looking at it, opera has to be like the hardest form of singing. Is it or is it not?
Oh yeah, you
It has
can't
to
just
be.
wake up one morning and decide you want to sing opera.
It has to be. So obviously that's not how you started. You didn't just wake up in the morning. So how did you start singing opera?
So I was singing all my life, like ever since I was little. I loved singing, and I originally wanted to be like the next Britney Spears when I was young. That was like my dream, was to be like Britney Spears. Um, but when it came time to graduate high school and I was thinking about going to college, I knew I wanted to go for music. But I also wanted to go to a college that was near where I was living or where my family was. So the college that was near where I lived was the University of Maine, and they only offer classical training. So I figured, okay, well, I'll go to college and do this classical thing, learn a thing or two, and then when I graduate, I'll just go back to singing pop music. But I started learning how to sing classically and learned about opera, and I just fell in love with it.
That's gotta be. I mean, like, so what is the training for that like? Because it seems like it's a step above singing normally, like the high notes and all that stuff. So how different is that training from the training you were getting prior?
I wasn't really getting training prior.
You were just natural. You were natural. Okay. Okay.
I just sang. I just sang. I mean, I got like some voice lessons to help me with my college audition, but I didn't really take voice lessons
Got
before
it.
I went to college. So it was definitely a struggle, or not really a struggle, but more of a challenge, um, especially mentally, because I got like real big time imposter syndrome, because I was around all these other people who had been singing classically for years, and they knew about all these composers, and they knew about all these operas, and they were like privy to the whole classical world, and I knew nothing. And I was like, but like, do I belong here? Like, I don't know anything like these people know. I can't sing like these people because, I haven't taken voice lessons before. So that was really tough. That created a big like mental block for me that for a stretch there, I really like didn't believe in myself, and I think that really hindered my progress in the beginning. But I eventually pushed past it, and my voice started to develop the classical technique, and then it got to a point where just like singing classically just felt really good in my body.
Were you able to become friends with those people eventually, or were they all just like stuck up and they didn't want anything to do with you because you were like a pop singer?
Friends with them, but I did find it a little frustrating that all they did was talk about classical music.
Oh my
And I'm like, I
God.
love music. I listen, a passion of mine, but like there are other things to talk about in life.
Give it a rest. Give it
Right.
a
Yeah.
rest.
And they can get a little like pretentious, like talking about, oh, I've done this opera and I've done worked with this conductor in blah, blah, blah. And like it's like, okay, can we talk about like the universe or something, or like the meaning of
Anything?
life for a second, instead of just like what operas you've seen? Like just sometimes, maybe sometimes.
I'm picturing the training process like, I don't know if you've seen Black Swan or like Whiplash, where like, like they're like you hit the wrong note and they like the teacher slaps you. Like I'm picturing it intense. Is opera like ballet or like Whiplash, where it's like super
It could be,
intense?
yeah. Oh yeah, it can be.
Really?
In my undergraduate degree, it wasn't so much like that because the music program there wasn't very strong. Yeah, I think UMaine is mostly like it's a big engineering school. So my my teachers weren't very strict. But when I went to grad school, my opera teacher was nasty.
Really?
She was nasty.
She was like yelling at you and stuff?
She would yell at you. She'd call you stupid.
I figured.
She would tell you sound awful. She would tell you look awful.
Really?
She would. Oh, she was mean.
Holy
Mean.
shit. No way. Yeah, every time like I hear about those art forms, when you get into like the upper echelon of that, when you get into the higher levels, those people are ruthless, dude. They're just ripping you apart. I mean, anything like cheerleading, dancing, singing, piano, they're fucking you up. It's crazy. It's like,
Well,
I
like
guess.
with things like pop music, or let's say like maybe even jazz, there's no real right or wrong. It's just what sounds good, what's making great art. But with things like opera and like classical singing, like there is a right and wrong.
Yeah. You hit the
You're
wrong
either
note.
singing the right note, or you're not singing the right note, or you did this rhythm right, or you did it wrong, or your diction wasn't right. So it's like there's not much room for your own artistic expression. It's more like you're given the music, you're given the direction from the conductor, and you just got to do what you're told.
Paint
Period.
by number. Paint by numbers art, basically. You just copy it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, essentially. Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's amazing, and it's so impressive to these amazing opera singers. It's so impressive. But one thing a big thing that made me not really pursue a career in opera like as wholeheartedly as I thought I was going to was for that reason. I'm like, I'm more interested in my own artistic expression and creating my own art instead of just like being told how to create someone else's art.
So when you went to the higher level, were you shocked? Like, did you expect that she was gonna be like that, or it was just like day one? It was like boot camp, and you were like, "Whoa."
I I don't know if I was shocked because I kind of always had the idea of like the classical world, like directors being a little more like strict and kind of mean and so it wasn't really shocking, but it definitely did not work well with my personality because I am a little bit more of a sensitive person. So I don't like it when it doesn't work for me for you to yell at me to try to get me to do something right or to correct a mistake. To yell at me to get me to do what you want doesn't work.
Right. But you
That's
ended
not
up
how I
making it
operate.
through. You ended up making it through and like graduating, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. So you just went with the program. That was it. You survived. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, so I really didn't. She was like my voice teacher too, and I really did not vibe with her right from the beginning. So I talked to like my advisor and asked if I could have a new voice teacher, which she was
Oh,
not happy about because she was still like my opera director.
bitch! You just called me
But
ugly. I'm a
like I had to do
switch.
what I had to do, right? And also, it's like I'm paying
Sure.
like a shit ton of money for this right now. Like I'm not paying a shit ton of money for you to try to yell at me and insult me. Like you work for me. I don't work for you.
For
You're
real.
not paying me. I'm paying
For
you.
real. They think you're supposed to be
So it's
grateful for
like
that to
I
get
didn't
yelled
care
at.
that she was butthurt that I wanted to study voice with somebody else
They think you're
because
supposed to be
it's
grateful for
my
it.
graduate experience, not yours.
Exactly. They're like, oh no, you should be grateful that I'm putting you through all this and I'm putting all this pressure on you. You should be grateful for that.
I would still like have to rehearse with her like for the operas, and like sometimes I would like sing something really well because she would give me like a pointer or a suggestion or something, and I would sing something really well, and she'd be like, "See, don't you wish you had kept taking lessons with me?"
No, because I just did it
I would
without
just
you.
kind of
Like,
like smile and not say anything. She was an interesting lady. She was like, she was a pretty old lady, and I think she was at the point of her life where she like didn't really have family. She didn't have a husband. I think she was a widow. So like that was her life, right? Like opera and her students in that school was her life, her everything. So I think she just took it way, way, way too seriously, and it just did not translate to her students. I think she would have been fine if it was a situation where she was paying her singers, but her singers are paying her. So she should not be treating them that way.
for real. For real. Well, one thing that's not paint by numbers is tarot cards. How deep are you into tarot cards?
I have been reading tarot cards for, oh wow, since 2018. How many years is that?
Oh,
That's 7 years?
obviously you never watch the show. I'm terrible at math. What is that?
It's,
Yeah, whatever you say,
I
I
think it's like
agree.
7 years. So let's say 7 years. I've been
Yeah,
reading
yeah,
tarot cards for like 7 years.
yeah. 7. It sounds right. Yeah.
Um, I was pretty deep into it. I have my mermaid TikTok, but then I also had a TikTok where I just did tarot readings. And I would go on live and I would do tarot readings on TikTok. I also had a YouTube channel where I would do tarot readings on my YouTube. I've done tarot readings for friends. I've had people pay me for tarot readings. And I really love it. It. To me, it's almost an art because you have to read the symbolism of the cards and you have to read the story of the cards in the way that you express that information and present that information to the person you're reading for. Is it's kind of an art form. But I kind of stepped back a little bit from reading tarot because I started to see how toxic tarot can be.
In what way?
So I would get a lot of people coming to me in times of desperation, especially when it came to like breakups. And they just wanted to know, is my person going to come back? Do they still love me? Are they going to come back? And I, and I would get that so much. And I knew that they weren't only coming to me for a reading; they were going to a lot of other people for readings because that can be an addiction, because you start to become addicted to hearing tarot readers tell you, oh yes, he still loves you, oh yes, he's going to come back. They get a dopamine hit from that. And I didn't want to be a part of fueling and enabling people's addictions anymore.
Yeah, you see that a lot when you look at like tarot card readings on YouTube or something. The titles are always like they're thinking about you, or this is what they're thinking about, or they haven't talked to you but they're about to talk to you. It's never like, oh,
Yep.
this is gonna happen at your job, or like, this day is gonna be like this. It's always like romantic stuff. So yeah, you're
Because that's what gets views.
100.
That's what gets views.
You are 100%
It's
correct.
inauthentic, and it's harmful because you can get addicted to that. And I've been in that position where I was addicted to that because I had gone through a breakup. And then all of a sudden I started seeing on my algorithm, on my YouTube page, all these readings saying, oh my God, he still loves
This
you.
is what they're thinking.
Oh my God, he's going to come back. He thinks about you. And like I would watch these and I would get that rush of, oh my God, that rush of hope and feel good feelings. And I would want more. And I'd want to go back for more. So I was just watching tarot reading after tarot reading after tarot reading. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy. Like if someone doesn't want to be in your life, let him go. I'm not saying that they would never ever come back or that they don't love you, but your only choice in that situation is to let them go.
Right. And not watch 50 videos that say no contact. They're not speaking to you, but oh, it's always like a cliffhanger title, like they're thinking about, or what they just, they prey on people's hopes and their desperation, like you're saying. And that is not cool. That is totally not cool. Yeah. I think tarot cards are great, but that aspect, I've picked up on that over the years that's pretty much what it's all about. If you can pick a favorite card, what card is your favorite out of all those?
Oh, I would say the Empress.
Yeah, you like
I
that?
love the Empress card because the Empress is everything that I want to be: feminine, artistic, creative, compassionate. The Empress is like all the queens in one, and just living in luxury and just being calm and just relaxed. Like I love the Empress.
Have you ever had a reading be so spot on? Like sometimes you do one and maybe like ambiguous, like, oh, this is maybe happening here, or maybe you're feeling like this. Have you ever had one where it was like after that reading it went down the exact way, pretty much like spot on?
My own readings for myself.
How often do you do those? Like once a day, once a week?
No. Once in a blue moon. I used to do it like every day, but like I said, it can become an unhealthy habit.
Yeah.
To constant, because if you're reading cards for yourself every day, especially if it's for a specific situation, it's like you're constantly looking for answers, constantly wanting to know answers, sometimes you need to just not know answers.
Yeah.
You need to just let go and just like trust that things are going to unfold the way that they are meant to unfold. It's not healthy to constantly be worried about what's going to happen in your future, because no one knows, not even the cards. Like, sorry, but like not even the cards know what's going to happen in your future, because your future is always changing based on your present choices. So with that being said, I do still read tarot for people, but in my tarot readings, I don't tell you what the future is. What I tell you is where you are and where you're headed. And I also give you the information you need to let you know, like, you can choose, like, how to choose a different route if you want to go a different route. I'm never going to give a reading to somebody and say, this is going to happen, period. Because that's just not the case.
That's cool. You're a responsible tarot reader, pretty much. Nice.
Yes.
What's your sign, by the way?
Can you guess?
Oh my God.
Think about everything I talked about.
I'm thinking you got to be a water sign. So, what do you like? What do you, maybe like Aquarius or something?
No, come on.
You're not a water sign.
On.
You're not if you're not a water sign.
No, I'm a water sign.
Oh, you're a water sign. Okay. What's the other ones? I don't remember. I know Aquarius is one, but I don't remember the other. What other signs are water signs?
Pisces.
Oh yeah, duh. Like, no, that's so dumb. How did I not think of that? That's so
Pisces,
dumb,
right?
dude.
Come on.
Wow. And you know what's crazy is I got a lot of Pisces in my chart, and I really identify with it. So for me not to even know that is crazy. Is crazy. But that's your sun sign, right?
That's my sun sign.
I got a Pisces moon. So that's why.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm very, very
yeah,
sorry
I feel
to hear
everything.
that.
I feel everything like 1,000%.
My condolences.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So you already know. You already know.
I already know.
Yeah, I don't know
I
how I
have a
didn't get that.
cousin who has a Pisces moon, and I feel like Pisces moons are especially difficult for men.
Oh yeah. Are they constantly freaking out about stuff?
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have a Capricorn sun and a Virgo. So people don't know. People would
Okay,
never.
well that's nice though. That's kind of nice because your Capricorn sun's gonna help balance out that watery Pisces mood. Because
Yeah.
Capricorn is as Earth can get.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your
So
three?
that's a good balance.
What's your three?
So I'm a Pisces sun, I'm a Sagittarius moon,
Okay.
and I am a Scorpio rising.
Wow. Which one of those do you identify with more, do you feel like?
All of them, honestly.
A little bit of all of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
all of them.
Got it.
Sometimes, yeah, no, all of them. Well, sometimes I question the Scorpio rising because I don't know, I'm not very dark. I don't really like horror movies and
You don't like
dark stuff
you don't
so
like
much.
blood?
But at the same time, I have always been very fascinated by the occult and and that kind of thing. And I have been told by a lot of people that don't know me and they just see me first impressions that I can look intimidating sometimes because Scorpio risings, they have that Scorpio stare
Yeah.
or that resting bitch face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, because I'm not a bitch at all. I'm actually a very nice person.
Yeah. As Earth sign, I got that. I got that totally. Like you see me or just around, that's the face I got too. So people think I'm mean, people think I'm rude, and then you talk to me and I'm totally not.
Right. Yeah. People are like, oh, when they do talk to me, they're like, you're so nice. Like when I first saw you, I was afraid to talk to you because I don't know, you looked intimidating.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, that's really unfortunate because I'm
Yeah.
not.
Wow.
I'm a little Pisces. I'm just a little Pisces fish.
Do you go deep into the birth chart or you just stick with the big three stuff?
Oh yeah, no, I know my chart.
Nice.
I know my chart.
Yeah, we've done a lot of that on this show. We go deep into the birth charts on this show.
Nice.
So
oh yeah,
it's fun.
And you always have to when you're meeting a new person, you always have to ask them what time they were born.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Every time I talk to a new guy, I'm like, so what time were you born?
Well, now that since I know all that, which all that was self-taught. Nobody told me that. But anytime a girl asks me that stuff and I'm able to give the quick answers to who taught you all that? What's going on with that? How do you know all that? They think I've been around, basically. They think I've been they think I've been a little too around, which is not true. Not true. So you have a podcast that you co-host called the Say Please podcast, which I think is a great name because I feel like people don't even say please anymore or thank you. So what led you to start? Because you guys are pretty much brand new. So what led you to start the show?
So I met my co-host. Her name is Deidre. I met her at the Murder Mystery Show. So we we met there. She didn't work there for very long because they didn't treat her very well. So she made a quick exit. But then, but we talked a little bit when she was working there. We found that, we vibe pretty well. So when she quit, we didn't really talk to each other for a little while, and then she reached out to me and was like, hey, sorry I didn't keep in touch, and she gave me the rundown of what happened at the place and suggested that we meet for dinner, and we met for dinner, and the conversation was just really flowing, and we found we had a lot in common, and we think very similarly about things. We have very common goals and aspirations. And our conversation was just so great that we were like, we should just press record while we're talking it could totally just be a podcast. Like it wouldn't take like any work really because we already talk. So why not just like put a mic in front of us and press record?
Right.
So that's how it started.
So you guys have been doing it for you said a month or 2 months,
Like a little over a month.
and you guys have liked it so far.
Oh yeah, yeah. We love it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
You guys have been pretty
It's a lot of fun.
consistent. What kind of stuff are you guys talking about on there?
We talk about spirituality. We talk about self-development, self-love, our own journeys in our own personal development and our own self-love journeys. Different experiences we have had in our lives, like challenging experiences and what we learned from it. So our podcast is really focused on wanting our listeners to gain like little gems of wisdom to help them in their own lives and in their own journeys of becoming their best versions and loving themselves to the best of their ability.
Nice. And for those listening, their show is the exact opposite of this show. So if you're looking for something where you can like sit down and relax and like learn something important and like chill out, that's where you go. This is the exact opposite of this show. Okay, so if you're looking for something a little different to go to sleep to or just chill to, it's a good show for that. Like I said, I listened to like 2 episodes, and you guys have like a very calming vibe to it, which is nice.
Thank you. We try to use our smooth jazz voices.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, it sounds good. It sounds good. So tell everybody where they could find you and where they could find the podcast.
So you can find me on TikTok. I have 2 TikTok accounts. My mermaid TikTok is _mermaid_aria. And then my like more spiritual TikTok is aria_divine. You can find me on Instagram at aria_divine or _mermaid_aria as well on Instagram. And then our podcast is on YouTube, only YouTube. It's called the Say Please Podcast.
Beautiful. Anything you want to say before we swim out of here?
Thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun. And I'm so happy that I got to share, especially my experiences as being a mermaid, because I love talking about it. People don't know much about it, and they always find it very fascinating. So I'm always really grateful when I have an opportunity to share my experience being a mermaid and to teach people about what it's like to be a mermaid, because it's not all glittery tails and fun makeup and shells and bubbles. It's actually dangerous and hard work.
Yeah, you guys are passing out. Skin is dry. Got dudes like harassing. It's
Careful
crazy.
now.
Crazy. You're gonna have to. We got to get the reality show off the ground so we can really show what's going on. We can show the pod. That's what we'll call the show. Call it the pod, and we'll have you guys all clicked up.
Have drama happening. Gotta have drama.
It'll be great. All right. Peace and love. See you next time.